Meet me, Kim Wilson. I believe love wins. I've been married to my amazing husband for over 14 years. I'm very comfortable in my own skin. My parents did a wonderful job of loving me. I am the youngest of 3 siblings. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister. My favorite food are buffalo wings. If there's no blue cheese, go ahead and suspend that whole transaction. Honey, I gotta have the blue cheese. Professionally, I am a licensed professional counselor in private practice. I am also a podcaster and motivational speaker. Oh yes, we're all more than just one thing at any given time. I love inspiring the masses. It's my purpose. I use my education in human behavior to facilitate dynamic workshops and live events about building healthy relationships. I am the creator of I Need a Session, which is a YouTube show and ebook. My favorite word is amazing. It's better than average and okay. My motto is, why settle for okay when amazing is an option? Boom. Hi, happy Thursday. I am back. I am back returning to love. I am your host. My name is Kim Wilson, for those of you who do not know me. And for those of you who have stopped and paused for me, I so appreciate you. Let me just tell you, I love you. So we are back for season 2. I took a pause for like 5 months, 6 months. I stopped in December. And thank you to all of you who sent me messages. There are a couple of you that say, hey, Kim, where are you? Well, sometimes you just have to pick up your tools to recenter. For me, my favorite tools are reset, renew, and reflect. I'm telling you, it's in the R's. It's something about the R's. Reset, renew, reflect, restore, replenish. What's your R word? Come on. When I got to December of last year, the end of 2021, I felt exhausted. And even though I love the mic, I love the stage, I knew that I had to take a step back. For some of you, you may not know that I run a private practice, and that is my business. I'm an entrepreneur. Even though I am a counselor, I'm also an entrepreneur. And just kind of managing a couple of moving parts, it just left me feeling exhausted. So when you start to feel exhausted, what lies right under that is overwhelm. And it is our responsibility to take care of ourselves, to correct that. And actually, anxiety is a core issue for a lot of women. And we don't always give it the label anxiety. We don't always call it overwhelm. We don't always call it burnout. But self-awareness is one of my favorite tools. When we are paying attention to what we feel, what we think, it helps us to make the right decision for us. And that's what I did. And I wanted to focus. I wanted to focus on some things that I wanted to go well. I wanted to be able to let go and release things that did not serve me well. Yeah. Let's go to the let go and the release. When I decided to do I Need a Session, I thought about it in 2019. I wanted to create this safe space where people can express, release, discuss. I honestly believe that every human being has a story that is connected to the growth, the healing, development, and transformation to another human being. Sometimes we don't always get there because we're holding on to stuff. Yeah. And when we hold on to stuff, and it becomes a habit for us, we forget how to let go of things, how to release. And when we're holding on to it, sometimes it manifests into hurt, anger, bitterness. Yes. And those core issues get in the way of our relationships, our work relationships, our friendships, our romantic relationships, because of the buildup. One of the solutions that I often recommend to my clients are breathing exercises, because when we inhale and exhale, it is the practice of letting go. And we don't always know how to do that. Just think, when a woman gets pregnant, her OBGYN will often refer her to Lamaze classes so she can practice breathing and relaxation. It's like, what? You mean to tell me I need to go to a class to learn how to breathe? I thought I was doing it. Believe it or not, just think about when we become upset or we become scared. One of the first things we'll do is, we'll hold our breath. And when we become worried and when we are overwhelmed or stressed, we're not even breathing properly. And that certainly can make a difference to how we start to make decisions, how we respond to people, and it can certainly impact our outcome. So, just even learning this practice of releasing. So when I created I Need a Session, I wanted this safe space so we can share stories and offer solutions. I'm always thinking about a person's emotional wellness. For the most part, I love the feeling of being happy. And I do know when we look at love as a tool and we are intentional about not leaving home without it, that makes a difference in the way that we feel, the way that we treat people, the way that we treat ourselves. And I got to tell you, one of the biggest things that I have noticed what's been missing is people don't understand how powerful love is, or they're not using it. And sometimes what it is also about not even loving ourselves. My heart goes out to the families in Buffalo, New York, who have lost loved ones because of the absence of love. All of that, all of those tragedies, that huge tragedy that happened in Buffalo, New York, all of that stem from an absence of love. When racism is in the atmosphere, it what happens is somebody is disconnected from the tool of love. Love never goes anywhere. We just forget it exists, or we stop using it, or we don't understand how powerful it is. So when I named the show for this tonight, the title of tonight's show, Returning to Love, it has several meanings. One, I'm returning to my love. This is what I love to do. I love to sit on the stage or in front of a large group of people with a mic and inspire. And I didn't have to ask anybody for permission to do that. I just told myself, hey, this is what I want to do. I designed it and I did it. And some people are not experiencing the joy and happiness that's available to them because they told themselves no. And I always say we get to move through this world without permission. Apology and explanation is a courtesy. By the time you become an adult, I love being an adult. You asking who for what? To go where? I mean, like, um, may I have a cup of water? I mean, the choice is yours. You get to design that. And all of that is understanding that when we give ourselves what we want, that's love. We're returning to love. And when we deny ourselves those things, we're not participating in the act of love. Sometimes what we're participating in is negative thinking, or we're operating in fear. I can't, I'm not, I won't. Instead of the messaging, I am, I can, I will. And so just even creating this practice of love, when you understand what your process is when it comes to love, you'll always know how to return to it. For me, my process is stop to reflect, renew, and restore, reset. Press the reset button. It doesn't matter how many times I have to press the reset button. If any of you rock and roll with me, you probably heard me talk about pressing the reset button numerous times last year, because I did press the reset button. And part of that is it was me using boundaries. Boundaries is another tool. It's a form of self-love when we put boundaries. When you think about, um, say you have caution tape around a crime scene, that caution tape is designed to keep the bad out and the good in, so they don't contaminate the crime scene. So such is the same when we place boundaries around our time, our space, our decisions. We want to make sure that we keep our peace in. We put boundaries around our peace. I Peace is very important to me. When I think about what I do every day, usually for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or 60 minutes, I'm sitting with a client and they are trusting me enough to share their stories. They trust me enough to be vulnerable. Some of their stories are painful, and it is my responsibility to make sure that I'm ready for that. So I always like to make sure that I'm listening from a place of love and I'm responding to a place of love. So going forward, my intent for this show, I'm always trying to make it better. I want to be able to offer more tools, more resources, and have just kind of fine tune some of the discussions so we can have a bigger conversation about mental health. We can talk about anxiety. We can talk about depression. One of the other things that I have noticed that have kept people disconnected from their love, here it is. Here it is. Hold on. Settling for the crumbs. You will not feast and get full from crumbs. And whether it's coming from uh, uh, our occupation, whether it's coming from relationships, when we accept crumbs, it's like you having to chase to get another crumb just to experience this feeling of, well, okay, they called me twice, well, they sent me a text. That's a crumb. If this person really want to get to know you, let them pick up the phone, call you, ask you on a date, take you out, spend some time with you, ask you questions, figure out what's going on in your world, and not all of these crumbs. And even like if you've been on a job and you feel like you want something more, and it's like, well, we have a hiring freeze, or no, well, wait a minute. Who told you that you don't have permission? You don't have permission to look somewhere else. Who told you that you cannot? If anything, even if somebody did tell you that, it doesn't matter what they said. It matters what you believe. So stop settling for the crumbs that don't lead to you feeling absolutely amazing. I see that we have a couple of comments over here. Hold on. Let's see who's rolling with the Kimmy. Hey, Tamika, let's get ready to rumble. You see, girl. Hey, welcome back. Hi, Karen. Yes. So, next week is going to be even more exciting. I'm bringing some of my topics back that have done really well. I have done When Men Stop Calling like twice, and that has been one of the most listened to podcasts for those of you who listen to my podcast, Amazing Relationships with Kim Wilson. You can find it in iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. So I'm actually going to bring that back too. I want you all to email me or send, if you follow me on Instagram, amazing Kim Wilson, send me a DM or even send me a message on Facebook, some of the topics that you would like to see, and I'll be sure to get them on. Some of the things that I've tried in the past is asking questions, and some of you have emailed me some of your questions. So, and even if you feel like, you know what, Kim, I want to come on the show, just send me a message and we can get you on. So tonight, I wanted to come back, reintroduce myself, and just really open up this conversation about love. I am all things love. I will always return to love. Love is patient, is kind, is all things good. And when we have a really great understanding of what love is, that is what creates our joy. It is what creates our happiness. When we disconnect from it, that is when we suffer. When we disconnect from love, that is when the dysfunction comes in. We have to be able to differentiate what love is, what fear is, and what a behavior is that is operating from fear. Love will never fail you. It will always lead you in the right direction. Sometimes what feels like a difficult thing is not a difficult, it's a difficult thing, but it's the best thing. And what I mean by that, sometimes when we want to help people, we blur the lines and step into the role of enabler instead of a supporter. And that can break us down because remember, the most important relationship is the relationship that you have with yourselves. So sometimes we become somebody's enabler and not their supporter. And supporters, some people may name it as tough love. I'm not a big fan of that term, tough love. Love is love. And I like to label it in certain situations as like, well, what this love looks like is support. So I will support you, I will cheer for you, I will root for you, I will even offer you information. However, I cannot help you more than you're willing to help yourself, because at that point I will exhaust myself, and I'm not supposed to do that to me. That's not an act of kindness and love towards me. All right, so we're right at 9:46. My goal is to keep the I Need a sessions right at 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, and I'm turning it into a podcast too. So stay tuned for that. You should see that up by next week. All right. I thank you all for rocking and rolling with me, hanging out with me. You could have been anywhere in this world, but you chose to roll with your Kimmy, and I don't take that lightly. All right. So I'll see you back here next week, same time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. We did it. That's it.